Hi, greetings of the day. Thank you so much for taking out the time for joining us today. I'm Vandana Tripathi and I'm heading the support functions of H&I, which consists of the operations, HR, legal, finance, and IT team. I have been working as an operational manager for quite a few years, and I would like to walk you through my journey and the success points and the tips that would really help operations function successfully in any company. When we talk about operations in an L&D company or L&D itself, what is the first thought that comes into our minds is content. But if you look at it deeper into the aspect of what is presented in the classroom, it's not limited to only the content, but there's a lot of work that goes backstage to present the successful delivery that comes to the audience. This work involves a lot of planning, a lot of risk mitigation, a lot of processes, and a lot of systems that need to be kept in place, which really leads to the success of the delivery that comes across. So when we say operations as a department, we would consider ourselves as a backbone of the organization. And why do I say backbone of the organization? There are a lot of cross-functional activities that go in the backstage. So when we say operations, let's look at the steps and the processes that are followed for the successful delivery of any session that is conducted across all regions. The very first step is we collaborating with all stakeholders, and this is internal and external. From the salespeople who have the exact expectations of their clients, we're coordinating with the L&D team, which is working on the content, ensuring that they have received all the information that is required to build on the content and to ensure that the content is coming to us on time. The on-ground operational activities are also working on the systems. If it is, we're going to be using an LMS, which is integrated with the content. If there are, because H&I is a lot into gamification and, ensuring that our activities are well stitched up with the content to give a better result and a more learner-centric experience. There is a whole gamification department, so to ensure everything that is required from them on ground, all these activities come in play with the project management and the operations team that work very closely in the delivery of any program. Now, there are various obstacles that we face on the day-to-day operational activities, from a trainer cancelling out in the last minute to having force majeure activities that come across. We could even have a client cancelling out for various reasons, which could cause a lot of disruption for all the planning that has happened. But what really works here is for you to have a backup plan. You need to have a backup plan in case, for any reasons, if somebody's not able to attend the session or to present the session or deliver it on your behalf. What happens if, the participants themselves are unable to attend, or there has been a communication gap. So what do we do here to mitigate these risks? You need to have clear, defined processes in place. You need to have systems. You need to use technology in the right way, integrated inside your process to eliminate and reduce the risks and, work with your team to be able to deliver a successful project. Some of the tools or applications that we use are, of course, when it comes to the whole project management aspect, we have Asana, we have the LMS, which is Talent LMS that we're using for the online content delivery. We have other systems which have been integrated in the day-to-day processes. And we also have to keep one thing in mind when you are selecting a process. The process has to be a centralized system. You cannot have different, tools and technologies being adapted by different departments, because if it's not centralized, then again, people are working in silos, which again leads to a lot of miscommunication, gaps, issues in the delivery of the project. Let's move on to deliverables and the KPIs of an operations team and overall impact that it has. Nowadays, nothing works with a one-size-fits-all combination. We have various ways and different modes of delivery that has been happening. You have virtual, you have the face-to-face delivery options, you have a hybrid, you also have a combination of everything. And how do we work around these processes? For virtual, it's a different system and a process to follow. For a face-to-face delivery, it's a different system and a process to follow. What is most important in this situation is that you have a clear set KPI and a deliverable that is planned out for these situations. The challenges that you could face in these situations also vary, because in a virtual setup, technology could be your biggest issue or a challenge that you could face. And what do you do in such situations? Now, while you would have, say for example, set up a Teams or a WebEx session, and you have sent the links, you've done all your due diligence to make sure everything is going in place. There is all possibility that the participants have not been able to enter the sessions. They're facing technical issues and glitches. A tip that I could advise in this situation is proactively, a day or two before your training session, send them the reminders, inform them that they have to download this particular tool, test it, and if needed, they could reach out to you. So at least you know that on the day of the session, the initial 2-3 minutes of people entering, and signing in, these issues are still manageable, and you've at least mitigated and reduced the challenges that you could face at the start of the session. Because if the start of the session gets dragged into solving issues and problems, the entire session gets impacted, because you have impacted the trainer's thought process, the flow that has been planned, the other participants who are well prepared. It really impacts all of these. So a quick tip around this aspect is always proactively communicate with your participants, give them the tips and tricks, give them a number to reach out to in case if they're facing challenges, so they don't disturb the actual session that is running inside in the training room. Moving forward, let's look at how operations success can be measured. Operational success is not about how well your project was delivered. It is also about how consistently, how effectively is this process that you have been following is implemented and is delivered successfully every time. The success of a project, as I've mentioned over and over again in time here, is it does not rely on one specific person. It relies on interconnected departments and people who all work in collaboration with each other to be able to deliver it in a successful way, following set processes and following certain measured criterias that have been there. For example, if you want to measure the success of the delivery of a specific trainer, you could have systems in place which is capturing live data through the dashboards that have been created. And the dashboards are basically giving you a visual immediately of how the sessions are going. And you have the opportunity there in this case where you could get back to the trainer during a break or in between the session if they are able to be connected, quickly telling them that we see that the audience doesn't seem to be getting too engaged, or we're seeing that the overall interactivity is coming down. Can we do something about it? And this will help the trainer also to understand the room and the audience that they have. While yes, they are in the room, they can read the audience, but a lot of times when they're really engaged, it becomes difficult for them to understand what's happening. And when you have certain tools in place to help you evaluate this and a dashboard that gives you a quick view about these things, you can take measures to reduce the overall feedback that you would receive at the end of a session. To sum it up, what gets measured can get managed. Now, operations go through a fire drill almost every week, but it is how you handle the situation and how you handle the entire process around the situation is what really matters. And that's what will build and bring the impact to the end result, which comes to the audience and the participants who are attending the delivery of the training sessions that are being conducted. In conclusion, what I would like to say is operations is like the nervous system of your body, which is the L&D company. And what we really do and the way we bring in or stitch up all the departments together and deliver a successful session is really what matters and measures the delivery of any operations department. Thank you so much for being with us today. And let's strive towards having operational excellence, because when operations strive towards excellence, it is the audiences who will thrive and learn and gain much better from us. Thank you so much.